Welcome to the first episode of Pro the Situation. I'm Chris Rappling. This is Rapco Media LLC. Today, I'm here with Commissioner Young, the Commissioner of Ward 6. Correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
And I'm telling you, this man has been doing a lot for our community, the city of Albany. However, his work is not done. And the reason he's in this work is because he cares about the community. And also, he's walking in the footsteps of his mother. Years ago, I met you when you had the dedication of the park for your mom, years ago. Yeah, and matter of fact, back then, wasn't no cameras, it was just a cell phone. And even then, I saw the fire in your eyes and heard the fire in your voice when it came to wanting to be a servant of this community. So today, I actually got wind of this last night. One of our viewers actually inboxed me the actual write-up in Albany, Southwest Georgia.
Right.
And it showed that y'all had a meeting today. The Albany Black Caucus. This is the first one, correct?
Right. Well, no, actually, we came together last year.
Y'all came together last year?
Election time, in the election for county commission chair.
Okay.
Last year.
Okay.
And it was kind of an impromptu thing, but we took that moment and built it around, trying to have a say in what was going on politically in Albany, Georgia.
Well, you know what? When you say that, I got a question. So why we haven't heard more about that?
Well, actually, this is something that we've been trying to do a test run, and that kind of had how that came about. That kind of goes back to my background in political science. There are a lot of different political processes and different ways of going about making political decisions, choosing your elected officials, and what issues that you want to pursue as a community of people. And the caucus is a process. A lot of folks think that the caucus is a group. It can be a group, but as we know, you have what we call the Iowa caucuses. Every time the president rolls around, you have the New Hampshire caucuses and things like that. And out west, that's how they choose their elected officials. And this is before the election. This is just how they kind of choose who they're going to get behind. So we know in the black community, we usually have several different candidates in one or more races, and a lot of times the public doesn't really know or doesn't really get a gist of who all of these candidates are. What we started out trying to do is trying to come down to a consensus in the community before everybody jumped in the race that, okay, this is the person that we think will be able to do the best job.
So in other words, excuse me for cutting you off, we're trying to prevent splitting of the vote.
Splitting of the vote. And that's how we started out with it. So that particular process, we had two strong candidates. We had, of course, Reverend Hurd, and we also had former County Commissioner Harry James. And we felt like as a community, we wanted to support one of these men over the incumbent. And like, well, who are we going to choose? And we used the caucus process. That was something that I had been familiar with when I lived out west in Colorado, where all the community comes together and you basically get in a room right then and there and you talk amongst each other, you talk amongst the people who are involved in the caucus, and then you say, you know what, this is who I'm going to support. And you literally separate the people who are there. These people are going to support that candidate. These people are going to support that candidate. And whoever gets those most people, that gives you an idea of how you will do in the eventual race. So when we did that, a vast majority of people preferred Chairman Hurd, and that bared out in the race because Mr. James, he was third in that particular race. So it was a process, and we didn't kind of just put it out there because that was just kind of a trial.
Right.
And but the bigger thing we wanted to move toward with the caucus is to also identify issues an agenda, a platform, because a lot of times in the African American community, we focus so much on the candidate, we focus so much on this particular person, we forget that we want them to do specific things. And a lot of times our community has not made an agenda or said, this is what we support, this is what we want you to do. These are specific things when you get in office that we want you to do. Candidates come up with the things that they want to do. It may or may not be what's needed. It may be something that don't even have anything to do with the office that they're trying to. I've heard many candidates come before they run for the school board, but they want to have an effect on city recreation. Well, that's not the board you need to be running for.
Right.
That's not unheard of at the local level, but we wanted to educate and we wanted to make sure those people who were coming before had an agenda. Had these are the things that are going on based on the data, based on the politics of the moment, because you need to be talking to other elected officials. You need to be talking to other people who are already working in this area to know what you can work on or what you can accomplish as that candidate based on the information already, because you can't get in there and just come up with your own thing to do. You have to know what's already going on.
And like you said, for the moment, that's why I named my show Pro the Situation.
Absolutely.
Because it's about the situation at the time and at the moment. The Albany Black Caucus had the Black Agenda for Albany, Georgia today. These are some of the points that y'all spoke on. Utilities,
Absolutely.
crime,
Yes.
economic development, and recreation.
Right.
And also the whole caucus that meeting will be on this platform in its entirety. So you'll get to see it, you'll get to hear it, you'll get to take your notes, and you even hear the next when is the next one?
The next meeting is going to be September the 7th.
So you will even get to be there September the 7th, and you'll see. So take your notes from the meeting that we filmed and we're going to air. Take your notes so you have the opportunity to come in there and speak your mind and be a part of the process. So, of course, we hear a lot going on in the background.
Right.
What is this about?
Well, of course, it's been 4 years. You know, when you were one of the first media outlets to come and interview me during the pandemic. That's been almost 4 years ago.
Wow.
Where the time went, but that's where we are right now. And it's time for me to be reelected. So really what I wanted to do, we're out here at my aunt Helen Young's house on our Young family farm out here in Putney, Georgia. And I just wanted to say, thank you to a lot of my supporters, my core group of people who always have stood behind me in the work that I'm doing. And just kind of get ready for election season. Again, it's a way to reach out, it's a way to say thank you. And then it's also a way for me to let people know what I've accomplished. One of the things that our politicians sometimes do, that they'll get in office and they don't give a report to the community to say, hey, I've done this for the last 4 years, or I've done that, and this is what I'm going to do if I'm reelected. What I want to do is always try to inform my constituents what I've been able to accomplish, because it's a job that people don't necessarily kind of pay attention to a lot, but you need to take these moments to kind of outline, hey, remember I said I was going to work on getting us a grocery store on the south side. Remember I said I wanted to get us more money for recreation and redo our recreation centers. Those are things that, I have been able to, with others, it's not been by myself or alone, but because I've pushed those issues and advocated and worked with my colleagues, we've been able to get a lot of the agenda that I initially ran on accomplished, and I'm proud of that.
So, you're running. Mm-hmm. We have a big mayoral race.
Right.
So I know that's basically, that's another thing when it comes to this caucus process.
Absolutely.
My question is, are we going to run into the same situation that we had 4 years ago as a big split the vote effort?
I don't think so. Right now, from everything I've heard, I think we're only going to have two major candidates in the race. Last time we had an election, we had
7, 8,
7, 8,
12, something
yeah.
like that.
And we haven't had qualifying. Qualifying is next week coming up.
Monday, matter of fact. Monday through what?
Friday.
Yeah, okay.
So hopefully, we won't have that same situation. But the caucus process was a way to, like I said, whittle down the field. We don't want to have everybody in the race splitting the vote. And we really, because a lot of times, and I just have to say it like it is, you have a lot of people running that really shouldn't be running. Because again, they're not, privy to the information. I'm not going to say qualified, because the only qualifications you have to run is you have to live in your district, you have to be of a certain age, and that seat belongs to the people. And but we can educate folks.
Okay.
That's the other thing. I just say that. We can educate people to the issue so that they are a good elected official, that they are, so they can be a good public servant and know what their constituents want. This is part of that caucus process.
Okay, so you decided just to run for commissioner again, even though it was rumblings in the community that a lot of people want you to run for mayor.
Yeah, there was some talk of that. I just don't think it's my time yet, just honestly. And that had to do with, a few personal things that I felt like I needed to kind of get behind me. It also had to do with me not wanting to create that situation and split the vote. Said Mr. Mathis made it plain and clear as soon as the other election was over that he was going to run again. And, that for whatever that's worth for people, I think I can do what I've been able to do for Ward 6, for the South Side, and for Albany from the seat that I have now. And I'm going to continue to work in that way and try to affect the entire city with the platform that I'm going to take on.
It takes a lot of humility, what you just said. That you wasn't ready, you didn't want to do this, you didn't want to do that. It's basically you did everything being humble and for the benefit of the people of Albany, Georgia.
Absolutely, because that's what I got in it for. I didn't get it in it for me. I come from a long line of public servants, and that's what, my parents did. They served unselfishly, not for their own benefit or self-gratification. They really wanted to help people. And just me realizing that, I can help people from where I am. If the opportunity comes and there's a situation that says to me, being mayor or whatever other position that comes up is going to benefit people, in a different way, or I can pursue this, then I'll take a look at that. But it has to be about the work. It has to be about helping people and accomplishing something that moves everyone forward. It can't be about me just because I want to be mayor or I want to be state rep or anything else. It has to be about the work and doing what's best for people.
Well, I'm not going to hold you any longer because
Okay.
I smell the food. People are coming in and they want to hear, even though we all know you're going to run, but they want to hear the official announcement. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris, as always, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're doing. We need the absolute media outlets like you to take the information to the people.
I do my best. I do my best. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of Pro the Situation. I'm Chris Rapley. We'll see you again. Thank you.